so we're frame. And let's grab another chair from over here from Mikey.
Yeah.
Chair there?
Hey,
Guys, we're live. It's Keith
and Gary
from Pop Culture Time Jam.
Because you're having fun and you're really enjoying this. You are.
And we're live here at
Visioncon
2019. And the first victim friend on the list is our good friend Sam Reichert. Sam Reichert is an author. He's books, and he brought some over. Let's put. Okay, there's his books. Let's lower that down so you can see. Sam's a very good writer. He got his start working with another mutual friend, Shane Moore. And I've not seen Shane here. I thought he was going to be here, but he's not.
I think he's quit doing conventions.
Well, I thought he was going to quit showing up as a guest, but he should have a table. He should always be selling. But it's sad because I have not done a Visioncon without him there, so it's weird. But
it's been a long time.
Yeah, and of course, Visioncon is where I met Keith here. We became friends because of this guy. We're con friends. Is that a thing?
That is a
I think
thing.
it is.
It is. So let's hear it. Let's hear about the books.
All right, so new release as of this weekend. Basic synopsis: Analia is a young elven girl who's always wanted to become a ranger. When she becomes of age, she goes in to do the trials, and about the time she's ready to complete them, the end of the world happens.
Wow. Oh, an apocalyptic. Okay.
A dark god is banished into her world.
Mm.
So all hell breaks loose, bad guys, hence the Night Kings.
Earth becomes the prison. Earth becomes a real shithole. What we're saying here.
As far as the
Now I know the story of that one, but go ahead.
that one is Miami Vice with a fantasy twist. At the end
The
of
concept's hilarious.
At the end of the Dark Ages, there was a big war, humans against basically everything else. They nearly wiped them out, and in a last-ditch effort, they sacrificed all of their magics to create what they call the Veil.
Right.
Everything's all well and good. It's the age of humans prospering all until 2018, Miami, Florida, a new drug hits the streets, and humans can now see through the veil.
Wow.
So you have a buddy cop team, ends up with a human and an orc trying to stop it from happening.
Yeah. Now you're going to think, well, that sounds like that Netflix movie. No, this is so much better.
When I was writing this book, just finished the final draft when they dropped the first trailer for writing. Scared me. It's like, that's my damn story.
That's my story.
And then I saw the movie. It's like, oh, we're good.
You're good. Because the movie, don't get me wrong, it's a fun film, but it's a great film. This is a really good story, and Sam's really good at weaving a good tale.
Yeah, I will be continuing it as soon as I can get the second one of this one done and a couple other books.
Now, I've heard it said you're kind of a surly bastard. This is true.
I'm a writer. I don't know.
I'm a writer. I don't know what surly means. I'm friends with this guy, and I love this guy. Him and his daughter are amazing. He wrote a book about his daughter, too. It's really good.
I've got, I think, one copy left of Damn It, Bree.
Damn It, Bree?
Yeah.
How's she doing?
She's fantastic. Running. We moved.
Yeah, they moved from Missouri to Arkansas.
I went up there to take care of my grandfather, dementia starting, and since we've been there, she's running straight A's across the board. I don't have to fight her to get up to go to school in the mornings. Hell, half the time she doesn't even wake me up. She just goes and gets on the bus.
This is the book he's talking about. He gave me a signed copy of it, and I read it, and it's really good. And it's basically, he's like me, a single dad, veteran, raising a little girl. And the experience of doing that is always worth a book. And this is his book. And how many you got left?
As far as books, I've got the...
Because you're almost sold out of these, right?
That's the last one I have of that one.
Well, if you want to get a hold of him, what's your website to get a hold of you?
Current website, elderlandspublishing.com.
Elderlands Publishing.
ELDAR.
Yeah, elderlandspublishing.com. Check that out. Look for Sam Reichert.
Card there if they want.
Yeah, I can put that right up to the camera. It is him, Levi. We all call him Sam.
Well, it's actually a I had some cross promotion problems,
Yeah.
so I had to relaunch under Levi Samuel to fix them.
Oh, really? Hi.
Amazon's kind of greedy bastards, and they link everybody with a buyer type. And when you have buyer types that don't match your product, it starts tagging your other stuff. When it carries those other tags, it just drops it off. Easiest
Amazon's a dick.
way to disappear into deep dark oblivion.
Yeah, the ether sphere. But
Well, listen, now, obviously, you know, big fan of fantasy. What was your favorite books or films growing up that helped to really feed into you?
Honestly, my dad was pretty conservative. I found a LARP group when I was about 13, and he hated that I got involved with that. From there,
it's the devil.
From there, I branched into Dungeons and Dragons, and really, that was it. I mean, I was always a nerd before I knew what a nerd was. I'd steal the wooden meter markers with that nylon tie around them.
Mm-hmm.
I'd steal those and sword fight the neighborhood kids. And broken fishing poles, antennas, anything I could sword fight with.
So you were just a natural for this.
I love fantasy. I always have.
Wow.
I like comedy. I have a little bit of a dry sense of humor. I guess I'm an acquired taste. So,
everybody's got to have their thing. And obviously, you're just winning fans left and right.
I try.
Yeah, because you started out in such a cool way as a sub-writer for Shane's company. And then you branched off on your own.
He contracted me to write The Forge of Feast. And that was kind of a weird deal. I met Shane. I hadn't started writing. I was working on my first book when I met Shane. And my brother introduced me to him. And a couple years later, we talked mostly at Visioncon.
Right.
And he gave me a test one year. He wanted me to write him a 500-word story. And he gave me his phone number, and I kind of groomed me on that first 500-word story. And I guess I did better because he offered me a contract not long after that. So.
That's good. Yeah. Well, if Shane's got faith in you, you're good. The next thing is at what point did you decide you wanted to be a writer? Because you were like me, a veteran. You served in the Army. Was it back then, or was it something that came about because?
I never intended to write. I was always creative. I was always building stuff.
Yeah, this guy's amazing armorer. He makes some great stuff.
I haven't found anything I can't do, and I've looked. But I never intended to be a writer, but I've always loved story. It was 2009. I was driving a taxi.
Right.
Had a lot of long nights sitting behind the wheel, just doing nothing. And a friend of mine suggested, well, you like stories so much, write a book. I thought about it for about 10 minutes and decided, okay. And I wrote that book in just under a year.
Yeah, right during the downtime.
Yep. Finished that book, and I thought I knew everything, but in truth, I didn't know shit. So,
that's amazing, dude. It really is.
Keep doing it, keep learning more, and here we are.
And now he's doing, because you and Ben Reeder are two of my closest author friends outside of Shay. And I love that you guys have done what you're doing. Ben, of course, did the Zompocalypse.
He's got the Zompoc Survivor, and then he has the Blues Apprentice series,
right,
among a few other books.
In the genres.
Ben and I were kind of a weird pair because we met each other during LARP stuff years ago, before either one of us started writing.
Right.
And started out over here. We intersected. We went away, and then we keep coming back, and it's like each time we cross, we keep getting closer together. So,
right.
It's kind of interesting just the way our different career paths worked out. But,
different, but also the same. It's because I see a lot of commonality between the both of you. But definitely check these out. You got any other things you want to talk to them about? Any questions?
I think we're covering, your website. Now, is everything you've ever done on your website, and any spin-off products you may have, T-shirts, things?
I have 3 websites.
Okay.
I have the SamuelRiker.com, which is currently under construction.
Okay.
Brother,
I have.
we brought a chair.
Are you recording?
Yes.
LeviSamuel.com.
You want to get over here? when Sam's done.
LeviSamuel.com covers all of my.
How much time have you even
stuff.
spent here, Mikey?
Okay.
And then Elderlands Publishing is going to be my.
I don't think I've even seen you at your booth.
Cool. Cool.
I'm messing with Mikey.
Now, what is something that has really, really, really just sparked your imagination that you've seen, outside of what you do, outside of anybody that you personally know? Is there an author, actor, television series, something that just outside of your whole writing? Is there a television show that you follow? Is there a movie that you
I have a lot of things that I really enjoy. The Legend of the Secret TV show is probably one of my favorites.
Cool.
Couldn't read the books. I tried. When it takes 20 pages to describe the color of the guy's shirt, it's hard for me to get through that. I love the TV show. Of course, Lord of the Rings. I used to watch the extended trilogy. I'd sit there nonstop building chainmail watching Lord of the Rings. And in one setting, I'd have a whole shirt.
Wow.
Of course, I build weapons out of everything from foam to metal. I'm a blacksmith, I'm an electrician, I'm an engineer. I build motorcycles.
Wow.
There's really nothing that I haven't found.
Okay.
And
Well,
I want to find those limits.
Yeah.
I haven't.
That's what makes you you. Amazing. It's always great talking to you.
It's always a little bit of time and dedication to finding the.
Very good. Well, thanks, man. That was, of course, Levi Sam Reichert. And these are his books again. Damn It, Bree, about his daughter raising her. So we got The Rise of the Night Kings.
New release as of this weekend.
Yeah, brand new book. And this one, of course, is Pandora Gambit. And you can check them online. Again, here's that information again. Sam, thanks for coming by to talk. I guess we're going to get Gary next.
We have to have real food before we get blackberry pies.
Justin. Can you this back or can I keep it?
Go for it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Levi.
Thanks, guys.
Anytime. Mr. B.
Mikey, you want to sit down with us?
I gotta run back over to the hotel, but I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do Gary and then have you on next.
Cool.
We got your space over here. We're ready to talk to you.
You grabbing some of Gary's art?
Yep. It's our next guest, Mr. Gary Bedell.
Gary Bedell.
Find him on Facebook.
The other cool Gary from Springfield.
And Instagram.
Gary and I go way back. We did a film festival many years ago, and that's how we met and became friends. Not here at Visioncon, oddly, but at the, Cinemerge, a 48-hour film festival. Him and his crew were making a movie, and my crew was making a movie, which included Theron Sturgis, the local martial arts teacher, friend of mine, also my daughter's teacher. And he was shooting his own film. This is Gary Bedell. And Gary was shooting this film. I was shooting a film, and then we ended up let's be in each other's films. Yeah. So we did this crossover. So we both appeared in the whole crew appeared in each other's films. Yeah. And then we were
the first shared
head-to-head battle, and my film kicked his ass.
Oh, totally. Totally. That's because I didn't direct it.
That's because I'm really good. Yeah. That's why.
But it's cool. Hey, we had a shared universe, the first shared universe in Sato. So
yeah, I don't know. He was it's really weird. When I met him and I found out his name was, and his name is Gary Bedell. My name is Gary Casano. And he does comic art. I'm like, that's it. We are doomed to be friends.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
And we've been friends
It's
ever
like,
since. And he disappeared on Facebook for a while, and I got this friend request from. I'm looking at the photo, and I'm like, wow, man,
is it a cat?
he did not age well.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? Has he been smoking crack? And then I realized it's your dad. Dad had friended me, and I'm like, you're not the Gary. Okay.
He's the creator of.
He's the creator of Gary Bedell. But no, we've been friends for a long time. I remember back when you lived not far from Zoe and me. You lived in that apartment that's now gone.
Yeah,
They
the
tore it
L
down.
on Walnut Street.
Walnut Street.
Yeah.
And I liked it. He was close to where I was at. And then he moved far, far away and then came back. And then just he fades in and out of reality. The thing I find interesting about him is he's run into some of the same, not stumbling blocks,
Right.
but I would refer to them as speed bumps to your career. Because comic art, everybody goes, I want to be a comic artist. Yeah, it sounds great until you try being one.
Yes.
Because only less than 10% of comic book artists make it. And the reason why is because, and when you're in a down economy like we were over quite a few years, there was no way to really survive on that.
And in comics, we're just doing this anyway.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got
sucks.
even like a top company like who I work for, IDW,
Yeah.
who pays, and they should not be ashamed of this number.
Right.
But when they're only paying like $7 a page for pencils,
Yeah.
$75 for inks, you
There's something
can't
wrong
you can't
there.
survive on that because when you do the math, it takes approximately anywhere from 8 to 14 hours to finish a full comic book page.
Yep.
And I'm talking about real good artists.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen guys poop them out pretty quickly, and I'm like, yeah, but they kind of suck.
Yeah.
When you take the time like we do to do a comic book page, and he even helped me on one book. You remember
Yes,
that?
I do.
Yeah, I did that. It's actually I have a copy of it over on the table.
Really? Yeah, check that out.
It's like I can't remember what page you helped me with,
Oh,
but I
can
was
show you,
so
yeah.
grateful. I was like so worn out. I
And we
did
made
that.
the styles like kind of seamless too. The color.
Yeah, you and I.
is good.
No, you and I should do a book together. It's
I
a
know,
fact,
right?
but you know, I don't know why it just never crossed our paths never crossed that way. But one day before we'll do something together.
Yes, that's happening.
But
So now you've been doing art all your life.
Yeah,
I
he's-
mean, since you know, as far as I've known you, as long
Yeah.
as I've known you, and they still have a lot of your murals at your high school in
Yeah.
Central.
Oh yeah.
wait a minute. Wait, what?
Yeah, he did murals on the walls that they have still at Central High School.
Yeah, it's, there's
Now
a lunch
Central
room.
High School is the one on the north side of town.
Yes.
Okay, Zoe was supposed to go there, but she was scared to go there.
Really, it's
So
so,
she-
awesome.
So we
there.
lied about our address so she could go to the other high school.
Oh,
And
that's
now I'm
funny.
sad that happened. I did not know you
Central's
did
great.
murals there.
Oh yeah, it's so nice. They like redid it as soon as we left, of course, in class 2000. It's all fancy and nice looking, and yes, of course.
So listen, look. Now, obviously, you know, you're nowhere near our age. There's a lot you have in common, things that you like, and obviously it's influenced your artwork.
yes,
Space Ghost.
Look at that.
Look at that. Look at that.
An amazing artist.
well, and like with things like Future Quest out and stuff like that, you know, yeah, why not, man? Like that stuff really brought back the Hanna-Barbera. Like I wanted to work on these so bad, especially like Herculoids. I
Yeah.
would have loved, or Thundar. That'd
Yeah.
been great. To work on Herculoids or Thundar, you know, like those are my two. I love He-Man. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's hand in hand.
Well, you know, again, you just seem to be able to just draw from your history and be able to just create stuff that is fantastic as far as the fantasy.
That's amazing to
and
look at.
fantastic elements. And even your horror stuff, your early horror stuff was just freaking amazing.
I loved it when we did the drinking draws.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
So I had such a blast. Here's what I'm doing. And he'd pop up his, and I went, jerk. It's like I've always made this joke with my fellow artist friends. It's like I woke up in the morning and I felt really good about what I do for a living. Then I saw your post. Then I just went back to bed. Jerk.
But that's the beauty of it, because like, you know, he might be like, damn, and then I'll look at his stuff and be like, damn, you know, and that's just how it is. That's the curse of the artist, you know, like
Yeah.
even Tim, who's really good inker.
Yeah.
And he'll ink these,
I didn't know you were an inker.
oh yeah, he'll ink like these really.
So you're a tracer.
Yes.
No, he'll ink these really.
Well.
He will just ink these super intricate parts, and I'm like, "How did you do that?" And he's like, "Oh, I did it with a brush," and I'm just like,
I should get you to
Serious?
work with me because I'd love to find a good inker.
"Yeah." He's fucking,
I get so frustrated
I
because,
can't
like,
say that, but-
my buddy Richard Bonk, I don't know if you know him from Marvel and DC, he would ink a lot of stuff. He's gotten so busy now, he just doesn't have time to work with me anymore.
I've been inking with Phil Morrissey. I may be inking with another guy.
He keeps saying Phil Morrissey. Who is that? Come around on camera, Tim.
we want to see
Take
you.
my seat.
Hey, before we do, Keith,
Yeah.
get in here really quick.
Yeah.
Before we talk about that, no, actually, after we talk to Tim, we're going to talk about Graveyard Slaughter. That's what we're
Yes,
talking about,
yes.
so,
Yeah, I
Yes.
just wanted to because you hear him talking, and I wanted you to see who's talking.
yeah.
So
Try not to interrupt.
this
No,
is Tim. I met Tim through
over
Keith.
here.
I'm through Keith, and of course Gary and I are old friends. And so you do inking
I do.
now. Have you done? You've
I
worked
think his
with.
stuff.
Yeah, he's doing my stuff like plenty of times.
What did you
Just
not tell him
nails it.
about?
I thought you guys
You-
knew each other.
You never.
See, that's the thing with the
This is when he's a
Certain.
jerk. He doesn't share stuff with me.
Dude, I just assume everybody knows each other.
It is kind of weird. I mean, I met Jeff because of you.
Really?
The show today. I was looking for him. Hey,
Hey, Phil.
we got a lot of friends here.
That's
That's
Phil.
nuts.
And that's his wife, by the way. I was waving at because I knew her before he did. In fact, I met her at the TrekCon
Yes.
concessions, and I struck up a friendship with her. And
Just a minute, guys. I gotta pee. Oh, you bet.
oh, I thought he was going to do it on camera. I was like, oh no, this will be a first.
I'm gonna R. Kelly the shit out of that shit.
Hand me a
So
cup.
let's talk about the inking. Who you worked with? Who do you like working with?
Phil over there. I got started working with him. We were doing small game art. He was doing his Dinky Dungeon stuff and all the spin-off.
Right,
And he got me started inking because at first I was just penciling.
right.
But I'm slow. But,
Now, what style do you do for penciling?
I've always been a Byrne fan.
Okay.
But
He's talking about John Byrne,
John Byrne.
for you idiots that don't know.
I've borrowed his poses, but I've never published.
Yeah, I always liked his one. He had really good, but his characters were always slick, and they're not. They were muscular, but they were straight. And I love the way he drew his faces.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's a ton of other artists out there, like Alan Davis and guys like that. They have like a really smooth style.
Right.
Their anatomy is just really good. But I started working on with them too.
We're doing a broadcast, so we're trying to get everybody here.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't know. I've been talking to Tim all day. I did not know he was an inker.
What's that?
I did not know he was an inker.
Are you Gary Castle?
I am Gary Cassell. Yes, I am. Hello,
Oh my
sir.
God!
Yeah, you can take a picture.
Thanks. Tim.
Some guy named Brian Ray.
Bauer. Could be. Yeah. Can I have your picture too? You may.
Just isn't that the name of the character from 24? Bauer.
Yeah, it's just Jack Bauer.
It's
Jack
his brother.
Bauer.
It's his brother.
Brother. Jack Bauer. The one show that you were guaranteed a kidnapping an episode, a kidnapping an hour, because the entire show is 24 hours.
I like the one where he cut the guy's head off and brings it in a bag. Just rolls it out. I'm like, is this police operation?
Oh my god! Have you ever had that before? Does this happen normally?
Yeah, man, just walk up, fans. They're fans.
It's great.
I'll talk to you later,
You were in
Brian.
the booth right behind him yesterday. I think. Were you
You-
your cat?
He needs to put Starfleet jacket over on camera. You need to put the Star Trek uniform on and come over on camera.
It's a good thing it's open space because that uniform is freaking hot.
I bet
It's cool.
Strad. Always hot. So, what kind of projects have you worked on?
Well, I worked on one project called Power Mark. It was English comic books.
Oh my god! I
Right.
know what that is. I know what that is.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
It's-
You can
now
go
I gotta listen
online.
to
No,
this
it's okay.
stuff.
It's
I know-
audience participation.
It was like Power Mark.
Are you guys
was
live?
like
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. No, don't worry about it, dude.
He was like this,
This is an
space
informal show.
superhero, and then right in the center of the comic book was a Bible story, and then it went back to the regular story, and this went on. For,
I did something like that. I was doing a Bible story, and in the middle I had a porn, And then I went back to the Bible store, and I knew there were a lot of kids going, "This is the weirdest children's Bible I've ever read." No, it never happened. I'm a liar.
That's
I totally made that up.
Especially a thing I saw online last night. Oh, what's his name? The guy who got the movie made about him. Shoot, the guy who wrote the Fritz the Cat comic. Can't think of his name. Not the guy who made
Fritz
it.
the Cat.
The guy who,
Yeah.
The guy that animated it. You're thinking of Ralph Bakshi.
No, he's talking about the guy who did the comic.
The guy that did the
I
comic.
know his name.
Oh,
The name of the movie made about him, not documentary. It's a single name. What it is?
hold on. Keith will know. Keith, who was the name of the guy that created Fritz the Cat?
Oh,
Not Bakshi, the guy who made the comic.
Yeah. Robert.
I'd have to look it up. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm old.
Google race.
No, Ralph made the movie.
Yeah, he made.
I'm talking about the guy who did the comic.
Robert Crumb.
Yes, thank you.
I couldn't remember his last
Oh,
name.
Robert Crumb. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
the cranky old
He
bastard.
did that.
They
He
did
did
a
a thing
movie
called
Crumb.
yeah.
Movie. I loved how they did it.
Okay, but yeah, and I was looking here the other day, and he did a thing like that where it was called like the Book of Genesis, nothing left out.
Yeah.
Adults
it's great.
only.
It's a great comic.
Yeah, unfiltered,
Yeah.
real translation of what happened in the
Yeah.
Bible. And I'm
Not
telling you now, it's not for children.
Geez, you get like 2 chapters. First place, start with nudity.
The thing
And
is,
then
is
you go
the
into
Bible's
that.
not for children either, apparently.
No, not really. No.
Was it Dark Crumb?
Yeah, that's who he's talking about, Robert Crumb. It's so funny. And so you worked on that. What was some of the other stuff you worked on?
I went through kind of like a patch where I just wasn't doing much at all. You know, every once in a while, maybe something with Phil. We did one for Young Teen Cats and another strip, Tommy Braun's. It was fun stuff to do. I mean, and then I started doing some stuff with Gary. Trying to remember what was it?
Gary Bedell.
Skylord. Yeah, it was something like Skylords. It was a.
Yeah, he was working on something and he just sort of disappeared for a while.
Yeah.
But I never saw anything come of it. And I'm always worried what he's doing because it's like, I want him to be successful. Because I've had a lot of success in my career.
Yeah.
And but I've moved away from comics as a career, but more as what I do for myself. Because I got to tell you, the pay isn't worth it
No.
in my book. Because I end up working, when you break it down for the hours that it takes you to do a page, because Gary and I were talking about it, it's like I would spend anywhere between 8 and 4 comic page.
Yeah.
And if I get paid only $75 to $100 for that page, break that down to how much per hour.
How much per hour? Yeah.
And that's not very,
Yeah.
a minimum.
For Mark, I was making about $80 a page, which is good for It was small press, It wasn't Marvel or DC or Dark Horse or anything like that. But still, when you broke it down, depending on how intricate the page was, sometimes you'd spend most of the day on
Well, yeah,
it.
'cause-
Sometimes you'd spend a few hours.
Well, I find it funny because somebody will come out, how much do you charge per page? And I said, well, a lot of that's really based off of what you expect from pages.
Yeah.
If I'm just going to draw a talking head thing, those are easy. Talking head stories and huge,
Tons of characters.
In a panel. I'm going to be putting a lot of time into this, like I did with that one book that took me 2 years to do, that Gary helped me with on a page, because I had to get the page done by the end of the week, and I said, I'm behind schedule. Can you help me? And he did. He really, really helped me out, man.
Yeah.
And but I got to tell you, dude, it was hard pressed to get stuff like that done. And so this adds to what you're talking about with, what am I drawing before I tell you how much I'm going to charge?
Well, you really got to enjoy what you're doing. I mean, you got to love
You have to love doing it.
Yeah. And pretty much don't quit your day job.
Because I did medical for years until my art career took off, but it wasn't as an artist for comic books. I worked for marketing companies. Now, what have you done?
You mean
What do you do to subsidize to pay your bills?
Oh, I mean, I work at a copy place. We do printing. So large color graphics.
Who do you work with?
Springfield Blueprint.
Oh, I know who you work with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of a misnomer because nobody does blueprints anymore. Even the black and white stuff, like roll it for architect.
It's dinosaur technology. We just don't need it anymore.
There's like one of our clients that still has a.
Okay, do it.
I don't know what we're going to talk about. Give me some warning.
We're going to talk about basically your experiences with conventions.
Oh.
Basically, you being one of the
I'm Gary.
smartest guys out there.
Chris Jackson.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
You are.
I struggle along in my own way. Chris Jackson. So,
You want to put him on now?
Sure.
we're not going. Are we going live?
We're already live.
Yeah, we're already
We're live right now.
live right now?
Like anybody cares.
Okay. So you want us to sit like that?
Yes, yes.
So you and I are going to.
Yeah,
Josh?
yeah, you, I, and
Who's
Gary.
going to do the interview? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's Gary and myself.
No.
With you.
Okay.
We're
Got it.
going to have you sit in the middle.
Hey, thanks, Tim.
No problem.
I appreciate it. That was Tim. Tim's. I'm going to be talking to you some more because I really would like to work with you.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I'll sit
You've
right in
been
the middle. Here.
responsible for a lot of fun times for a lot of
Okay.
people.
Oh,
Let's see.
look at that! I am on screen.
You have been
Hey, gentlemen.
responsible for just creating an environment and a mentality emanating from Kansas City that has affected the rest of the state in a good way.
Well, I appreciate those kind words. I'm not quite sure I've had that big an effect, but I appreciate that you feel I have. Thank you.
You have.
But Keith, you have supported the show for a long time, and I appreciate that.
Well, I was a big supporter early on. In fact, I was the one that got you and David to call him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
You remember that? You remember who I am? Gary Cassell, the comic book artist.
Oh, yeah.
Because you
I
like
do
gave me
now.
a table there for the longest time, and we want to come back there because now we do the show.
I apologize, Gary. No, I didn't.
No, don't worry about it because I didn't realize you worked. I'm looking at you going, I know you.
Good. Now then we're in the same boat.
Now we remember each
And I
other.
remember Keith. It took me a second. But
Keith's
I
one of my
remember-
best
so,
friends, and
okay.
yeah, when you were, because I was really upset because you were so stressed out. Because you and I talked just before you were just starting to grow,
Yeah.
and I'm like going, one person doing all this is insane. So I called him and David, and I said, please get a hold of him. He needs some help.
It's never really been one person, but I will admit, back when I met you guys, when I used to come down to Visioncon
Yeah.
and things, my show was much smaller.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I was still in Oakland Park at that point.
Yes. Yes, you were.
And the show started growing when I moved downtown. Well, let me take that back. The last 2009, 10, 11 in Overland Park was pretty crazy. 2012 was the year you couldn't move. Remember that?
I remember
Oh, yeah.
that. That was amazing.
crazy busy.
Yeah, my last
I'm
time
really
there was
glad
when
the fire
Bernie was
marshal
there.
didn't show up.
When Bernie Wrightson was there.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was my
Bernie,
last
that's been several
time.
years.
Yeah.
And I tried to get again later. I did book him one year and he canceled. And then, of course, he unfortunately had those health issues and passed away.
Yeah, and I really was so excited because I was a guest down at Comic Palooza, and he was my table mate.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my God, dude! I was
Getting
like,
to spend a weekend with a legend
and
like
he
that.
bought my
Yeah.
book. I wanted to give it to him. He refused to take it, and then really loved the book.
Let's-
Wow. The reason why I praise you so much is that you were able to bring together all of the local comic book retailers, anybody that had any sort of like a pop culture interest to what you were doing, put them in a room and then invited people to come in. Now, the concept of cons has been around a long time.
Oh, yes,
But
absolutely.
what you have done in the Kansas City area and the way that you've grown has really helped kick off a lot of things for a lot of people. There are people here that have never been to San Diego but feel like that when they come to your event.
Yeah, because it is, and I just referred to it earlier as really the largest show in the state in
Yeah.
a way.
No, it wasn't.
But you've grown that way,
Yeah.
and we've said it. We love Visioncon, but the fact is, Visioncon had some took off.
Lots of
I
hard
was
work.
fortunate. It was lots of hard work. You know, I
Yeah.
started in 1999, a show in the suburbs and out there in the Overland Park International Trade Center. And I was out there until 2012. That was my last year. And I grew slowly. I wasn't as ambitious as some of the people these days that start cons and immediately want to have a con that fills a convention center
Right.
and has budgets in seven figures.
Well, you
I
you
grew it
focused on
very
quality,
slowly.
but you also focused on quality. He had the best guests. I mean, and he was kind enough to have me there. You know, and I'm like, you're really women.
We've always been lucky with guests, though. It's like I invited Scotty Young out years ago at the old location
Mhm.
because he was doing an Oz book with Eric Shanauer.
Yeah.
And then Scotty's been very loyal to the show ever since then. And now he's moved to Kansas City, and he's one of the biggest names in comics.
That's what
So
I
I've been
mean.
really lucky people like that. That's just
Now, I'm really curious because Corbin is up there. Has he ever been to your show?
Corbin came to my show either the first or second year, and he was there. I went over and got a bunch of books signed by him, and then I wandered away to take care of something, and I came back and he was gone. And
He's a severe introvert.
He is an introvert. He's kind of a recluse. He also did there was a club show in Kansas City for a while. He went to the club show. I can no longer sit for shows. That was it.
Yeah,
And
I've heard that he's
just
just
doesn't
become
wanna go
more
to
and more
shows.
reclusive as he's gotten older. By the way, I don't think we've even said it at this point. Planet Comic Con.
Chris
Kansas
Jackson. I'm with Planet
Yes.
Comic Con Kansas City.
And I just
We had
realized
our
I don't think we
We had our
introduced
20th
that.
anniversary
Yes.
show on March 29 to 31 this
That
year.
was fantastic.
Biggest show we've ever had.
I
It was
didn't get to
incredible
go. I was
success.
so pissed that I could.
Uh,
there was not enough time for me to get up there.
We had, it was such a nice mix of celebrity guests, including screen actors and voice actors, and then a very large number of really top name comic creators, and then a room full of everything from a person just getting started to people in various stages of their careers. Room full of great creators with great art, great prints.
You just make
It was
a
very
very
successful.
good use of your time and the room that you have within the complex that you're able to do this in. It's efficient. It's well thought out. It's never seemed, every time that I've gone, seemed to be, a mistake to put this over here and take that over. It's always been methodical. And I like that.
I am one of the few promoters of a comic convention who started out as a dealer at comic conventions. I started as a collector in the 1960s reading comic books. So I come at this from a comic book angle. It was 30 Spider-Man back in 1994, 5, 6, right around in there. And I read Spider-Man, Ditko stuff and then Bermuda stuff. And of course, that's why the 2016 show for me was such a treat because I had Stan Lee.
You said you'd been chasing him for a long time.
I had chased him for more than 10 years, and it was always just difficult. When it first started out, he barely had an appearance fee. I remember I talked with him personally at a dinner in San Diego. It was an award dinner, and he was sitting next table. So during a break, I talked to him. He says, I want $10,000 a day now. I'm like, oh, man, I don't know if I can do that. But let me think about it. And this was, 15 years ago or something. And it was probably like 2004 in San Diego. And then I thought, when I finally brought him out and what I ended up paying to bring him out, I'm like, man, I wish I would have brought him out when it was $10,000. But
still,
no, it was great to get Stan Lee to the show. 2006. He's a legend.
Across the state enjoyed that appearance. I know a guy, my youngest brother's best friend, and he just lost his mind meeting him. And he very rarely gets a chance to go out and do stuff because his kids are really small. But he made a special exception here to meet Stan. He stood in line, waited the entire time to meet him, have his picture taken. He has that on a place of honor in his special room. You do that. I mean, he had always, Spider-Man was jammed from the moment he got out of the womb. And you fulfilled a lifelong ambition for that.
I love hearing those because that's part of the reason I put on a show.
Yep.
We put on the show. You can't have a show without fans. So you've got to create that experience for the fans, or you're not going to have a show.
Yeah.
Well, and also, it's because somebody predicted that comic conventions are going to be a dying thing. But I said only in certain places because San Diego, artists are tired of going there. Because you know who Dave Dorman is.
Oh, yes.
Him and his wife, Denise, are like really close friends of mine. And we have like bickered back and forth about San Diego because I went that one time for that book, Code Word Geronimo for IDW.
Yeah.
It was the worst experience of my life. I hated that place. It was jam-packed. You felt like you couldn't breathe. And there was no parking. The hotels were overly expensive. And we didn't sell anything. And Dave Dorman, the number one Star Wars artist in the world, voted by the fans, walked away from San Diego Comic-Con at a loss.
Wow.
And it's because they're not groups anymore. And you, on the other hand, you keep it that way. And
I try to make
I love
sure
your
comics
artist alley.
always gets us. Like I said, I started out as a comic dealer. I'm one of the few promoters that comes out as a comic dealer. So it's always been very important for me to get comic dealers and comic creators into the show.
Yeah.
Well, you
And I've
also
made a
create a
focus
great
on-
flow. Because this is something we've talked about too, is that a lot of conventions don't understand traffic flow. And you want to try to drive that traffic. I do well.
Traffic flow is one of the most important things to me. After doing shows for since 1987, I've done shows from 1987 till 1999. I started my own. But it's really important to set up your aisles so traffic flows nicely. I'm a big believer in long, uninterrupted aisles and full, uninterrupted cross aisles in a grid fashion. If you have anything else, if you have short aisles and things that cut off aisles, that hurts traffic flow. So traffic flow is a major thing. Every year I agonized over the map. It's easier now.
See, just hearing that makes me so happy.
Because we filled the room, so I no longer have to redo the map completely every year, because before I was expanding it in new halls and you had to redo the map every year. Now it's no longer the case. This year we sold out in December for a show at the end of March.
Wow.
And we had a waiting list of more than 70 people for 10 by 10 booths, and we had a waiting list of about 70 to 70 people for the 6 Foot Artist Alley crafter table. So it's a different world, and I know we're going to sell out quick this year.
Well,
in fact, we're going to curate a little bit.
We better
this year.
get on it.
So we're not. We haven't opened sales yet, so I'll have to have you guys write to me so you get on our list so you know when we open sales.
Because I'm not going to be coming up as an artist. You know, I'll have the art at the table.
Yeah.
I always do. But we want to broadcast from there and do interviews, like again with you and anybody else.
It'll be hard to track me down at that show, but I can.
I know.
try to
I
give
have
you a few
actually,
minutes.
honestly,
So
every time I'm there, I've never seen you.
I can't see you. And you're always busy, which is great. But I have to praise you, though, in talking about the aisles and the way that you have it. My youngest brother is in a wheelchair, and I brought him a few years ago. And I got to tell you, other conventions that I've been to don't really give too much of a thought. Even there's a lot of helpful people, and
I'm really glad to hear that. I mean, 8 aisles that are wide. We have long aisles running the length of the room. The room's 4 blocks long.
yeah,
So we have 3, I think either 3 or 4 main aisles that are 15 to 20 feet.
yeah,
And then the cross are normally 10 feet. But there's room for people to get through.
yeah.
Except for the busy times on Saturday. It does get
Yeah, it gets a little crazy.
Yeah, it gets a little crazy. They took away my keys. I used to like to ride my little scooter around because I had things to do at every end. They take my keys away during the public show hours now because they're afraid I'll hurt somebody. And they're probably right. Pretty successful. A lot of shows have a lot of criticism in the industry that shows are gravitating towards celebrities only. And I do have a celebrity show.
Yes.
But I also have a comic show. I try
that's
to keep
the amazing thing. And
the mix
I
is
have
really
never
important to me.
heard one person complain about your show.
You have a great mix. And those of us
We try, and that's
you
a
just
lot of
do
work.
it right.
That is the key thing I really keep very hands-on. The guest.
So I want to know who your favorite guest
How
is.
can I? Who knows better what a 25-year-old fan's going to like? Who they're going to want to meet? By the way, I do get a lot of input from people who do it.
Jeff.
I'm teasing because I
Pretty
get
good.
input on
Have
who
fun
to
walking
invite.
around.
It's like I realize if I want to keep my demographic, I need those Harry Potter guests there.
Yes.
I need some voice actors there. Where I want somebody from Firefly.
Yeah.
I want somebody from Star Trek.
Yes,
Oh,
or the Flash,
So I
or
try
Arrow.
to.
My
Flash.
favorite
So I
year
try
with
to- I
this
do- and I
was
try to
Buck
keep-
Rogers. You had Gil Gerard.
Oh, that was like 2012. with
Yeah,
Aaron Gray
and that was
Gil
like my favorite moment. Yeah, Gil Gerard and what's her name was there?
Aaron
too?
Gray.
Eric. Oh my God, both of them.
Mhm.
And then at the other table was
Lee Majors?
Adama.
Oh,
No.
yeah. That was the year that you had.
Almost.
Yeah,
Edward James
Edward
James
James
Olmos.
Almos.
That was
He was fun. He's a
Oh my
good
God,
dude.
I
nice
love
guy.
talking because
Very funny
he
guy.
knew who I was because
Yeah.
I do the Blade Zone fan club.
Yeah.
That's one thing you probably don't know about. I'm the founder of the Blade Runner fan club.
I didn't know that.
It's one of those things
Longest
that
running one.
I did not start talking about until this last year.
Well, you'll
and
be happy when I have Harrison Ford then.
that's never going to happen. I've interviewed everybody from Blade
Just so
Runner.
we're clear, I was kidding about that.
Yeah, kidding.
Never happened.
He would not do an interview.
No.
Everybody, Rutger Howard does videos for us. Like when it's a special event, he'll record a video for Blade Zone.
Well,
Sean Young, all these people have done videos for us. Harrison Ford won't even do a written interview with us. Doesn't give two.
Person, whenever we put up, get Harrison Ford. But I appreciate
And
that
then
people want me
laughter.
to bring folks like that in. That's fine. I encourage people to suggest guests. When it's a guest that's unrealistic, I understand. They don't understand the booking process.
Yeah.
And the various vagaries. It's like the other person everybody wants is Mark Hamill.
Mark is cool.
Mark
but
Mark does almost no shows.
Yeah.
Almost. He'll occasionally do a show, but it's very unlikely that I'll ever get Mark Hamill.
Wow.
I have a direct contact to him because I'm close friends to his producer for his show.
I'm in contact with the people that represent it.
Oh,
It's just,
okay.
and now it's a matter. I've always tried to keep my prices fairly modest in terms of autographs and photo ops. And somewhere like Mark Hamill comes in, you're going to have a VIP package. It's going to have one autograph, one photo op, maybe some priority seating and a panel, and it's going to be $800. So,
and he's not going to be there most of the time.
away
He's
from
going to be gone.
because for all those of you who might have seen him years ago at some other show and he was under $150, that's not where he is anymore. I mean, he could be there if I wanted to lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I've got to take the amount of money he wants to come in, how much time he's going to give me to sign. I got to divide it, figure out how many autographs he can sign. I got to price it accordingly. And that way the autographs are going to end up $250 plus.
Right.
And the photo op will be the same or more.
Yeah. Jason.
Ray
He
Parks,
was
I really
relatively-
enjoyed that. When you
Ray
had
Park's great.
I loved it when you moved to that location.
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's when the show took off because we were in a 50,000 square foot exhibit hall of the suburbs.
Yeah.
Well, I moved into a place that had 400,000 square feet total. The first year I used 100,000, and then I used essentially almost like 80,000 more each
Yeah.
additional year up
Yeah.
until I filled the space. Now we're in it's 400,000 square feet roughly. So and we filled it, but I try to bring in that nice mix and I
Your
still
mix
do
is
that. I bring in some anime. I bring in some other actors, Batman anime.
You capture myself, you capture my wife. You also for since she was this tall, and you were able to juggle all of that and still.
There too.
Oh, great.
yeah.
Oh, she
I'm
lost
really
her
happy to
mind when she met Ray Parks.
Oh,
Ray Park.
yeah.
Ray Park was great. Ray Park, I love the way he doesn't just sit behind his table. He got out there.
He got out and
he
started
interacts with
mingling. He
people,
did the
and
martial
then he
arts.
did the martial arts demonstration
Yep.
in the aisle.
I was
And
there
was
for that.
awesome. I'm going to try to bring him back. That's been 5-6 years or
He's
so.
just
5
so-
years there.
He's such a really nice guy. Now I want to tell you Stanley's story for Zoe.
Okay.
We were down at Wizard in New Orleans, and it was because right after I did San Diego, and they asked me to be there as a guest, and I went, oh, okay. And I love New Orleans, so I'm like, I'm going to have fun here. Stanley is there, and I'm also Ferrigno, and Lou Ferrigno's there. So I go over to talk to Lou Ferrigno, and Zoe's over there. She wants to meet Stanley. She's in love with Stanley. And some guy goes wandering by and does a drive-by insult about how he stole from Ditka and Kirby and credit for stuff. And my little girl, she was 12 years old when she said this. She goes, "And what have you done?" "No, what have you done?" "Oh, don't walk away." My little girl stood up for Stan Lee.
Yeah. Well, there's been that story around.
No matter what,
No.
the only person I don't think Stanley ever really stole. The only person who ever did steal is we know who it is.
Yeah. Not.
Finally now has the credit he deserves.
Yes.
Yeah, he is the name that I refuse to mention him anymore, and he does too. So
Rhymes with Bob Lane.
yeah.
Yeah. It is. Again, just.
I'm just being silly.
It is.
I like the name Bob Lane. I think I'm taking that name.
Yeah.
It is.
You
as I
say
keep-
Rob Lane. Rob Lane. I should have been
Rob
thinking
Lane.
ahead.
the-
Rhymes with Rob Lane.
Rob Lane.
I like the fact that you're able to invite in guests, a lot of comic guests that are just very personable people, and it to be able to seemingly just walk up to anybody and have a good conversation with.
I think a lot of this has to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, is where your ambition lies. And your ambition seems to be more in line in quality than about quantity. And so therefore, you built the
It's a
field
mix.
and people come.
It's a mix. I mean, I get people. At
Are
all
you a greedy
levels of their
bastard?
career.
Are you saying you're kind of a greedy bastard?
Well, I'm a for-profit bastard.
Okay.
So
Amen on that.
Show business, not show
keep in
friend
mind,
business.
but keep in mind the convention business side. There's hundreds of cons around the country now. You were talking earlier about somebody saying cons are dying. Well, I don't think they're dying. It's so many people saw the cons were successful. I happen to own really successful, modestly sized regional con back in 2010, 11, 12, when cons started to just skyrocket. I mean, the curve was like this in terms of interest. I mean,
Right.
it was, the graph was just going up. And then at the same time, I also moved into a bigger facility, and my show took off. It just, I almost couldn't stop it. It took on a life of its own. It's been hard to keep up with it. I'm almost glad we filled the facility because finally maybe I can get a grasp. but what's happened is everybody and their brother thought I can start a con and make a bunch of money. And I ran that con for years, making very little money. A little money here, a little money there. But, it's not, you can't go into it thinking you're going to make this huge profit. And that's what the problem has been. People that know nothing about cons, have no interest in comics, have no interest in pop culture.
Yeah.
They just want to run a convention.
They want a convention and turn a profit so they can.
And turn a profit. There's a couple big cons in the country. We're starting people that know nothing about pop culture.
This
They're
falls
convention
into that.
people. They started shows, and sure, they built up a big show, but they built it up solely that
We're doing the show right now.
I never started.
Okay. I'm
So,
over there. 820.
I started as a fan of comics, and it grew very slowly.
Yeah.
And,
My girlfriend's
and-
over there
and
running.
very organically. And so
All right.
the reason for the lack of success is so many people had these expectations, and then suddenly they weren't making money.
Yeah.
And so these cons collapse. Even some big cons have collapsed.
Well, there was
Certainly a lot
concern
of little
over
ones have
Visioncon.
collapsed.
I know that there was concern
Yeah.
over that for a while.
And then you have creation.
Gary and Adam.
Yeah.
And it's been around since like the 70s.
Yeah.
And these two guys, if you look in comic books, you'll see that they were putting on comic book shows in the New York City area back in the 70s and early 80s. And then they moved to Los Angeles and started putting on these themed pop culture shows.
Which
They
is
started out with
cool.
Star Trek. They were the first ones to
Yeah.
bring
Everybody together.
the Star Trek Next Gen cast, the original Star Trek cast together for these shows. So they're another animal. They're
Yeah.
not trying to run a comic show. They're running they've got the supernatural cast. You pay X amount of money. Some of their shows
Gotta
do
love
better
that.
than others. I mean, they've gone through various properties. They've had a lot of time shows, and Supernatural, and
X-Files
Star Trek,
was
and
really
X-Files.
good.
Because I've
So that,
actually
I
put
don't
on
consider
cons.
they're not even competition for me.
Yeah.
No, they're
a
different.
animal
Yeah,
completely.
completely.
And they do a great job. Gary and Adam are incredibly experienced. These two guys are two of the most experienced guys in the country.
For a while, Keith, David, and I, all three of us, talked about trying to do a con
Mhm.
that was more about film.
Yeah.
And it's something that we toyed with because I've done film festivals, and I love doing festivals. They're fun. And
I'd take that price.
yeah. Well, I did artwork on one of his best friends, also one of my best friends.
Yeah.
So he's the director of the film, and Bruce said, "I'll just show up." So we drove him from Chicago down to University of Illinois, where I was at, and we held the festival there, the Freaky Film Festival. And the festival went on for a while after I started it. But I learned that you really have to get a name, and the only way to get a name most of the time is to have some money. Well, you either get it from sponsors or you get it from ticket sales, like pre-ticket sales.
Sure.
And I just decided I'm not going to do this on my own because I need someone else to help me with that. That's why when
It's
you
a
did
tough
what
nut
you
to
did,
crack.
I was just blown away by that. And then when you started growing, and I could feel that stress coming off of you when we were
I'm
talking.
stressed all the time.
Because I don't know if you
No doubt
remember the
about it.
conversations we had way back then.
I know.
I
apologize.
immediately got off there and I said, "Well, I'm going to get a hold of Keith and get them a hold of you because this
Yeah.
this
Well,
is
I
awful."
always had people help me. I've got a much bigger staff now, and I can delegate much more. I delegate whole areas of that. And the one thing, as I said, I do really keep close track of is booking, both of comic book creators and of media celebrities, both voice and screen actors. And I keep really close control over that. After I get a lot of people submitting names to me, my staff, and I talk about it, but I make every ultimate decision. And thankfully, knock on wood, cross my fingers, I've done I think a pretty good job of getting a nice mix every year.
Don't have. Yeah.
I get agents to call up and say, "Well, I'd like to bring in X horror actor." I say, "Sure, I'd love to have that guy." Well, now I want to bring in 7 other cast members from the same film. No, I'm not a cast kind of show. I'll bring in the one exception will be Firefly.
Because then you're starting to go into that arena where the other
I
guys
don't
were.
want to go to that arena.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to bring in 8 people for Nightmare on Elm Street. I want to bring in England.
Yes.
So that kind of thing. So, but I bring in 1 or 2, maybe 3 from a property, occasionally 4. That's pretty much where I cap out because of the variety. Keep it to 35 guests and keep it affordable.
Well, exactly.
So-
And I did something similar to that, like with Expo in Tacoma. I helped bring together what would be convention, but it was a fiasco. It was a nightmare for me. And because the guy that was managing the whole thing that I was working with ended up being a con man, and I had to go back and
Well, that's
go
always
before a judge
Yeah.
and send him to prison. And he's out of prison now, and he's back doing the exact same thing that he did before. And I'm just hoping people, because Gary Willoughby, who runs Blade Zone, he and I we know this guy and we talk about him all the time, but I won't say his name on the air because I don't want to get sued.
No.
Because I guarantee you he would sue me if I said his name. But he knows who he is. And his name isn't even a real name. But we had like a lot of the cast from Blade Runner and some of the crew. And it was a really good Blade Runner show, Millennium Expo. But one of the main actors that showed up wasn't even allowed to go out there because of this guy. He pulled some shenanigans last minute and wasn't going to pay him. And I'm like, if you promised him that money, you have to pay him. And
It is a problem some shows have.
and he did not pay this actor. It's Morgan Paul, who's now dead now. He's one of my closest friends for years. He played Holden, the Blade Runner gets killed at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And he really screwed over by this guy. And then this guy went and talked negatively, gave negative press about him. And I'm like, and so we all just walked away from that expo, just want to take our hands off and go, we don't ever want to
That'll
talk about
sour
this
you on the
place.
experience of putting on a convention. You got to
And
be a
that's
little
what
careful.
happened. I didn't want to do a convention after.
Well, one of the reasons that I've kept I also want a few major shows in the country solely. I'm in, and that doesn't happen with very many shows.
Yeah.
There are some, don't get me, but there's not very many. And one reason I keep it that way is I don't have to worry about business partners. I own the whole thing. That's
Yeah,
it.
You have
also-
a really good.
I have staff.
You have a really good relationship with the city of Kansas City.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
It's getting better. They have an odd way of determining who qualifies for priority on dates.
Yeah.
And therefore I've been jumping around a little bit and I've had some trouble.
Yeah.
But other than that, the city appreciates my show, and they've got their own restrictions. It's written into how they have to treat people for dates, and that's my biggest issue with the city is getting the right dates.
Yes.
But other than that, yes, I get along well with the city. But I've now become the largest public show in the city. Nothing bigger than Planet
Yeah, I can't think of
in
anything
terms
bigger
of
than you
a
guys.
show in Kansas City. I'm really the largest show for about a 6-state area around it. I'm about in the top 20 to 25 shows in the country out of
I
hundreds
know
of
you're
shows.
number one in this state.
So,
Yeah.
number one in this state, sure, but I cover the only shows that come close to me as big are you west to Denver, go east to Chicago with C2E2.
Yeah, because I don't think
go down to
the Wizard
Dallas
comes
with
close.
the Informa.
They don't get the
There's no
numbers.
Wizard show that's close anymore.
Yeah.
They used to be.
Yeah, they used to try to take a
Well,
run.
they screw around.
But that means you can still have a good show that's not huge. It can still happen.
Don't sue us.
I am fairly grateful that I have become a large show.
Remember, we don't want Wizard to sue us. Don't sue us, Wizard.
No, I'm not saying nothing about Wizard.
He's
at all.
not
I
saying
get on
it.
very well with John Mott and Peter Katz, the guys who run Wizard. They are very good guys. They're very, but their goal right now is their business model seems to be not to have as big an attended shows. They're going into some smaller markets. An exception being Chicago, but I think I outstripped their Chicago show now. So
That's good.
But
That's really good.
they
Again,
got good shows. Yeah.
the great thing is you bring people, I think, to Missouri, to Kansas City, that I don't think would normally think too much to come here. And you've given us something that helps to attract a lot of interested people, both in terms of guests at these types of events and paying customers. That is fantastic.
Keith and I run the Missouri Film Facebook page too. It's one of because we love Missouri.
Yeah.
And we support it. We really want Missouri to grow. And with what they just did, signing the new tax credit, is going to help the state.
That
And
did
that's
pass.
really-
I hadn't heard. Was that one step
it did
Scotland
pass,
was
right?
pushing?
Oh, they still have to have everybody else sign off. I mean, the first part of it went really well. They
Okay.
passed that part.
Okay.
The second part of it is really what.
Because I know Steph Scuppum from
Yeah.
from Visit KC has been working hard to get that done.
Yeah.
Now I heard recently that Georgia may have changed. I don't know. They've done something that annoyed the film industry down there. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, they had
I'm going to guess it's some reactionary.
It was some knee-jerk reaction to voting for a pro-life thing.
That was it.
But Hollywood doesn't know how to disseminate, and so they want to punish their state.
That's right. They want to punch the state, but on the other hand, it gives an opportunity to draw some films to Missouri.
Missouri.
So,
like Missouri.
by the way, Planet Comic Con for the first time incorporated a film fest element into our show. First time we tried it. It was of modest success, but might have to consult you guys on how maybe to improve that. We're working with Cinema KC and with KC Women in Film.
Oh, those are
Television,
great.
KC WIF. So we're going to try to improve that all next year.
Oh.
We wanted to add that element to the show. We added esports to the show this year. We're we're adding on some new elements here and there. And so I always look at a show that in terms of how many types of things we offer. I offer the media celebrities. I offer the creator celebrity. I offer the cosplay. And to me, because Dave has expressed some lack of interest in cosplay at shows. But I don't
not
feel
his dislike of cosplay. It's how the traffic gets blocked by cosplayers.
Okay, well, and that does happen. But unlike most shows, I actually set aside a fairly large area for cosplay, probably 80,000 square feet or so, just for cosplay. And it's right as you come in, because I like that visual as you come in the door. And that way they can gather there in this area, they get their pictures taken. They're not blocking up the aisles.
Yeah, because basically,
and Dave's been to my show and hasn't complained to me. So
Dave's a great guy, and
I'm hoping I've done it right.
Is he coming back in? Because if we go out there, him and his wife are friends of mine.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him again.
No, Dave's been to the show 2 or 3 times. 2 times, I think, in like the last 5 years. So, but we have the celebrities, we got cosplay, we got creators, we got retailing, we got panels and presentations, we got tabletop gaming. Now we've got esports. Now we've got a film element. So we're getting 5, 6, 7 elements in there. Esports is a challenge. We're working with a major esports, Midwest Sports, which is out of Wichita, and their major esports operation. We're working with them to expand.
You again, as I said, you plan things out. You're methodical.
But even though we didn't recognize you at first, I'm very fond of you. It was like I was so happy whenever I got to go up there. It's like I love Visioncon. This is my home con, but your
you need
con,
to support your hometown con.
and the only other con I like going to, other than Visioncon, your con, is Smallville.
And I've got to go there this year. John Robinson is such
John
a good
is a friend
guy.
of mine. I love
He's
the
so
guy.
supportive of Planet, and he always brings great
Well,
props.
you and he really, because even though yes, you're doing this as a business, you think about it in a way that is far more towards the creator. Which is why when he had me out, he flew me. I was like, thank you, very nice. He's a nice guy.
Drive from here to there.
No, I was in Arizona.
Oh.
He's making fun of me. He didn't know I moved there. I moved to Arizona.
Okay, got it.
When I finished raising Zoe, I
makes
moved
more
down there.
sense. It makes more sense. I'm just thinking, we're sitting in Springfield. You can't drive to Wichita.
Yeah, I drove up there from here the first time.
I'm just teasing you. I'm teasing you. So no, and I like those shows, and of course I met you guys, and I always used to come to Visioncon.
Yeah, no.
No,
I enjoyed it a
that's
lot.
what you and I used to talk about. It's like you were always here. You were
that was a smaller show then, and I was a smaller show. But the guys at Visioncon, you let me put up my posters, let me put up my flyers.
You
We watched as the years went by, and I have a nice segment of people out of Springfield who come to my show every year. And part of it's because I used to come down every part of it. I came down every year and took part in Visioncon.
That's right, and that's my favorite memories of you coming down, doing what putting up your posters. You were always really nice with us. My family and I would come up and you'd help us in and allow us to see what you had. And your shows, even back then, just blew my mind because of the kinds of people that you were able to have. A nice mixture of not just, as you said before, different types of creatives, but many people that had a tie to the Kansas area.
That's true too.
And
we're always trying to bring in Kansas City people. So I'm gonna have to cut it short here pretty soon,
yes,
guys.
Yes. We can let you go.
Enjoyed visiting with you very much.
Yeah, we actually talked with you longer than anybody else.
Yeah. Thank you, folks, for
Pop Culture Minefield.
I appreciate the time. Chris Jackson, Planet Comic Con, Kansas City.
Check
My
them out.
next show
Facebook.
is check it out on Facebook, check it out on Instagram, or Planet Comic Con official on Instagram. The 21st anniversary show will be on March 20 to 22 of 2020.
We got to get up there. I want to
And,
do the
so it's
show
almost
from
a
up
year
there.
away. We just had a show about a month ago, and show's about 11 months away. And we're already booking people, but I can't tell you who they are. Sorry. And but come on up, check us out on check out our website. We're going to be updating it, and come on up to Planet Comic Con Kansas City 2020.
Amen.
Thank you, gentlemen, for the time.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. And thanks for being a friend over the years, too.
Thank you, guys. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You ready, Mike? Our next is getting back.
Better than the new Sonic movie. So much better than the new Sonic movie.
Yeah, that trailer for the Sonic the Hedgehog was terrible.
Wow.
I saw the picture.
That was amazing.
But
That was.
Mikey's going to come over now.
Oh yes, Mikey Mason.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
Now, Mikey is a friend of ours, another con friend that I met through Visioncon. And
Incredible.
As opposed to a pro friend.
I don't think I have any pro friends. I don't pay anybody. I'm thinking, no, I don't pay anybody to be a friend with me. What's that called? That's called a fraternity.
Tired. Somebody may have given me a beer.
Don't give this man alcohol. Mikey, I think my favorite experience with Mikey was at Visioncon down in Branson. And we had this really weird cosplayer chick that just was so full of herself.
And that might she drew a penis on it. She didn't know me at all, but
And I
she
said-
thought that was funny.
And I remember saying something. I'm like going, do you know Mikey? And she's like, no, but, if he's not going to be here. And I go, are you saying that you'll do that to the rest of us if we're not here when you want us here? I did not like her. But Mikey's a comedian. But that was one point where his sense of humor did not come out.
Yeah, no, I wasn't polite.
No, and you shouldn't have been. That was uncool. And that's one of the few things, because like all the years we've been doing con, I rarely have an issue with somebody. And that was one of the few times, and I thought she was just a horrible, horrible guest.
Well, that is just not cool.
No. It was not.
How have you been overall? I mean,
Man, I make a living singing for geeks. There is nothing I can complain about. You know what I mean? I sit here and I do shows, I sing songs. People bring me pies. 3 pies this week. 3
What kind?
blackberry. 3 homemade from scratch.
I love blackberry,
pies.
man.
2 6-packs of beer, a bottle of bourbon, and because they
He's
love me,
kind of a country boy.
craft beer from Columbia, Missouri, Old Forester bourbon, which is the Statesman line, 95 proof. But anyway,
all very healthy for you.
It's all good.
it's how I
Blood
maintain the
thinner.
physique. It's,
It keeps him from having a stroke, all that alcohol.
you don't stay this svelte, not eating pie.
So
It's like
now,
me.
you're definitely someone.
Full-time stand-up comedian for 15 years. So I performed in 38, 39 states just doing stand-up comedy and in the Bahamas. So technically I was an international performer. And you can see how that is fact. I'm so full of myself. I'm full of something. But
Blackberry.
yeah. Oh,
Well, I find
So
that
much
most
fun.
comedians, good comedians in particular, come from a place of fractured pain and stuff like that.
nobody gets into stand-up comedy because they're healthy and well-adjusted.
Yeah, because I don't think I ever told you in the '80s I started out doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And I had a manager. I opened for the Fabulous Thunderbirds.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, at a dive in Virginia.
Leave your hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got so turned off because they were doing so much cocaine backstage, and they were like kept inviting me, and I'm like, I'm
I don't need that.
not a narc. I'm not a narc. I just no, I don't want that.
But
there's so much paranoia that comes from doing so much coke for multiple reasons: physiological, psychological, and also because it's illegal.
Because of the legality.
Right. That
Yeah.
Combine the paranoia with the illegality. Yeah.
Yeah, so I always made it clear that I was not going to partake, but I'm not a narc.
Yeah.
Do not worry about it.
Man,
I'm
I think
not
he's
a
saying
narc.
he's not a narc too much.
Why is he saying narc so much?
That's too much.
I didn't ask him.
Look, I'm just take a taste.
Okay, look,
Would an narc go
I'm
nuts?
good. I'm good. Then I'll go shake for a while. Yeah, the only thing I ever snorted was during exams. My buddy Carl Rowland got me some Black Beauties,
Oh yeah.
and I snorted those to keep me awake so I could cram for the exam.
Huh.
And I swore I would never do that again. That was horrible. I mean, yes, the speed part was really good, but it hurt so bad. People snort. This is awful.
Because it gets right into your bloodstream.
I hated that.
There's a fact.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm a former combat medic. I know what way that is. And it's not an IV.
I'm not sure how your butt chuck feels.
We were told when I was a combat medic that if you have collapsed veins and put it as a tube, you just put it right up the old butt and pump them in.
Because it'll go straight.
It goes straight into their
It gets
system.
absorbed in your system. Yeah.
Oh,
That's why these people that do the
But-
tampon thing
but
with
what?
vodka, the kids that do the vodka tampons thing up their butt it's dangerous. Don't look at me like I made this up.
I wasn't listening, but then I heard vodka and buttholes.
Yeah, tampons. The kids will do this. They'll soak them and then put them in there, and they'll get acute alcohol poisoning.
It also seems like it would be very burny. That would burn. I mean,
welcome to Butt Entertainment.
I don't know much about that, but it is a sensitive area.
I don't want to brag, but I come on the show, we start talking about butt vodka. Class.
Talk about crap that nerds like to talk
I
about.
take,
In certain cases.
I take the CL out of class.
If you're not understanding the joke, that meant ass. Some of our viewers, I don't know if they're so quick. Jason Knight. Jason's a good guy. Hi,
He made
Jason.
me spell.
Another version of ass, and you still always see. Okay.
He made me try to subtract letters. You can't subtract letters. I don't do algebra for your entertainment.
That's right. So, hi guys.
Mike, I need you to explain to him
Oh.
how to get to the punk rock kitty stuff.
If you want to hear songs written as if they were from a fictional punk rock kitten band, like this gentleman, a band called the Mighty Blighters, you go to mikeymason.bandcamp.com, you find the Mighty Little Blighters, and you download it for free. It's an EP of kitten punk songs with 3 rules in mind when I wrote the album, the EP. 1, it had to be from the perspective of kittens, so about things kittens cared about. 2, they had to be punk songs. And 3, they couldn't be longer than a minute, because you can't get cats to participate in anything as a group sport for longer.
How can you not want this?
Totally free. Mighty Little Blighters, Bitten is the name of the EP, and you can get it for free on Bandcamp.
Then I also want to buy your CD that has the I'm not cool one.
Opposite of cool.
The opposite of cool.
Can we take a break?
Yeah,
Can
go
you
for it,
guys
man.
entertain while I
Go do
We'll
some
entertain while you go
business.
do your business.
talk about something other
No,
than
I'm just going to stare into the screen.
talk about something other than butt vodka.
Butt vodka.
But vodka.
Oh, I apologize.
You know what?
Everybody
This-
understands business.
Yeah.
Business and business.
Yeah.
Got to
Yeah.
do your business.
I hear the word.
I got to say, this is what happens at conventions because you're always doing business. And
I
here-
guarantee you right now, we've been away from our table. There have been a lot of people to our table.
Yeah. Which is part of the reason why we keep telling you, come on down, see us at Visioncon 2019. Visit us, Visioncon.
What's the Beetlejuice thing that he sings at the end of his commercial? I'll chew on the dog, or what is it?
See, you hit me with that, and now I'm having to think and
Come on down, I'll chew on the dog.
this has been an amazing experience, and we keep remarking that this Visioncon and where they out of the Springfield Expo Center has been amazing this year.
This is something that we've wanted to have happen for a long time because I know we talked about it, that this was where they should be holding the convention.
Yes.
They used to hold it at the Clarion Hotel, and it was a huge mistake. It was a huge mistake. I don't think that it helped them at all.
It reached a point where they were just too big.
Yeah.
No, it's just too big, and it made it difficult to be able to do all the things, and plus all the businesses. There are businesses, there are future vendors that now they can actually have here and be able to provide goods and services that you usually cannot get here in Springfield, or usually, in most places. And I'm thinking of Tower of the T-shirts, among other different businesses. But, the businesses that they have this year dealing are some amazing things. You're going to see things, you're going to be able to buy things down here that most places you just easily cannot get a hold of. Now, a lot of these places will do business with you online, through the mail, various other things. So if you really want to know who's here, go ahead, go to visioncon.net or check out Visioncon Springfield, Missouri on Facebook, and also on Twitter. So
Jason wrote, "Hey."
Hi, Jason. All right. But look, having
Jason, get one of our shirts.
Yes. Now, how much are we selling these for?
The printer has it for $20.
Yes. So if you like these shirts, you want to support us,
Jason.
You want to support what we do, get one of these shirts, contact us. It's $20. If you're lucky, we might even sign it depending on what you want.
And well, come on, Jason. Come on. Deanna can take cards. Get one from her. And she's at the booth right now.
So come on down.
I will one day. One day.
Come on down if you actually want one of these shirts. If we have any left, we might do certain things. We might even look, depending on how well we do with the shirts, we might make some more and see how this goes. So this is more of an experiment, but we would really like to move some of this merchandise and see a lot of you wearing these shirts to various
and then take pictures and send them to us so we can post them on the show.
That's what we really would like to see. So, hey, Waldo.
How are you, sir?
Hey, how's it going, Waldo?
Holy crap, I found you.
I know. How are you?
Well, you found us.
How you been?
Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Is that
Now all we need to do is find his girlfriend.
is that the end of the universe kind of thing when Waldo finds you?
I think.
Holy crap.
Plot twist.
All hell Satan. Hell Hydra.
Plot twist. He becomes Buddhist and finds himself.
Oh.
Everyone wants me to get Scooby. Scooby-Doo. I have another fat.
Roro Raggy.
I know.
I'm not Raggy. Who is this Raggy? Roro.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Good day.
Yeah, we decided to come over here because we were trying to broadcast from over there, and they kept doing. That was a mistake. Huge mistake putting the art alley in the same room with those broadcasting things. We need to talk to people.
Yeah, you can't do this. Look what he's doing.
These are not going to be interrupted by those intercoms, or music. And we were getting so frustrated trying to talk to them, we'd have to stop and wait for a pause to speak again. It was the one mistake. This is really good, though. No matter what, I'm glad you guys moved it back here. Visioncon belongs in Springfield.
It belongs here at the Expo Center.
And it belongs, we've said that for years, it belongs right here. Since they built this place.
I've been saying it back when I was on staff for a long time.
It's more space. It's more compact.
Yeah, and I can read it here.
Yep.
I'm on foot. So how long
Oh,
you
do
guys
you live
been on
downtown?
staff?
I used to live like right around.
I took over a student's lease. Okay.
Oh, right off campus or on campus?
Off campus.
Okay.
Yeah.
I lived right over here on Elm Street.
I've been gone for about 4.5 years.
I don't think I'm supposed to live on campus.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not on staff.
Right.
But I did take over.
At least for a student.
For a place usually
Excuse me.
tries to lease out to students.
Welcome back.
Good talking to you, man. See you later. Take care, buddy. Those are two of the security guys here for Visioncon.
Yep.
One dressed as Waldo, the other one some kind of ninja.
It's just a sword.
A Venture Brother with that skull, Venture Brother skin?
Really?
Ninja?
Punisher, I think.
Punisher. It's
Yeah.
not quite the Punisher.
Yeah. I just thought it was cool.
It is good. Any, well, not every skull. The
Yeah,
curved sword. Here, show them on camera. And it's locked, so it's safety.
Yeah, it is safe. Safety first, everyone.
There you go.
It's not.
Look at the blade before they locked it.
Yeah.
I was just checking.
Yeah, it's really well crafted. It's actually sharp. It's sharpened, which is it's powerful.
Oh, the connection's stable.
We're trying to reconnect.
Reconnect.
What was it?
Is it trying to reconnect the old
What kind of stuff do you guys do? What kind of stuff do you guys do? I'm at streaming after.
Oh,
Which is
cool.
next.
Hey, congratulations.
So I do that. I'm looking at returning to DJ this fall, so I might